Okay, so this is what we were doing last time. We'll just have a little warm up. So silver bromide on exposure to sunlight decomposes into silver metal and bromine gas. Major reaction लिख के. Either you can send it on chat or you can write it in your book and send it. Whichever way you send, I just want to see your answer. So अगर balance कर सकते हो तो you can attempt it. Even if you don't, no problem, because we'll do that afterwards. Swayam's here. What happened, Swayam? Why so late today?
What's the valency of silver?
Balance, if you want, you can. Otherwise, not. No problem. Okay. Internet issues. Okay. Come on, like we've just started. So reaction is given here. Just write down the reaction. If you can balance it, do it. Otherwise, it's not necessary right now. If you do it, at least like I'll get to see. Try it. अगर हो सके तो ठीक है. Otherwise, we'll discuss balancing. No issues. And if anyone is stuck, if you don't know silver bromide का formula क्या है, silver क्या है, bromine क्या है, let me know. I'll tell you what it is. Oh, Arya has sent it. Okay. Arya is the first one to answer. Nice. 90% correct. Ashka also has sent it. Both of you made the same mistake. Okay. So, bromine gas might not have come across it abhi tak. Just like chlorine, nitrogen, oxygen, वैसे ही bromine exists as Br2. Okay. So the way you have nitrogen is N2, oxygen is H2, hydrogen is H2. वैसे chlorine, fluorine, bromine, iodine, all of these elements, elemental state में Br2 होगा. Okay. Gautam, yes, now he got it.
Do we have to write the physical states also?
Yes, write the physical state. Mahak, yes. AgBr का physical state क्या है? Rest of it is all right. Correct. Aryan, yes. Aryan, like I just told you. I just wrote it here also. Bromine क्या होगा?
B2.
Br2. Mahak, Aryan, Gautam, and Ashka and Arya have sent in. Who has not sent in? Srija, Krisal, Swayam. Literally, the people who have not switched on their videos have also not sent in the answers. Bhejo jaldi, jaldi. Srijak, yes. Sahi hai. Wait, one small thing. So if you think silver is metal hai, bromine gas mein escape ho raha hai. Silver bromide also, like, you don't have to dissolve it in water for this to happen. Okay, uska bhi solid rahega. So silver bromide, silver is Ag, bromine is Br, so bromide is Br minus. So silver bromide ka formula is AgBr. Silver metal is pure silver, so you'll just put Ag for it. And bromine gas is Br2. arrow पे
Now I have a doubt.
yeah.
Ma'am, so in the N periodic table, the group 17 is there. So
Huh.
if any metal combines with group 17, that becomes a salt, right?
Yeah, it's a salt. Yes.
So AgBr is a salt.
Yes.
Okay. So salt is not necessarily, it has to be aqueous.
No. It depends on what reaction you're doing. Like if you're taking solution of it, फिर वो aqueous रहेगा. Some cases, like usually decomposition reaction हमेशा solid रहेगा. Okay, so whenever you come across something decomposing, not just silver bromide, we'll also look at sulphate ka decomposition and all that. So that will be solid state. So this is the final answer. AgBr, solid, presence of sunlight gives silver solid, metal है, and bromine gas, upward arrow or gas. Either way, you can mention it. Crystals, why am I? What's going on? Are you here?
Yeah, I just I'll send it now.
Okay. Now balancing chemical equations. So why do we need to balance equations? Because law of conservation of mass. How many of you know what is the law of conservation of mass?
Mass can neither be created nor destroyed. Then the amount of mass in reactant side should also be equal to the amount of mass in product side.
Absolutely right. Very good. So mass cannot be created or destroyed. So basically, अगर कोई reaction चल रहा है, तो randomly it can't come out of nowhere. It can't disappear off anywhere. तो before reaction जो भी mass था, after reaction भी उतना ही होना चाहिए. That's what conservation of mass says. So that is the whole point of balancing equations. Okay, so when we balance equations, we are making sure कि total mass on the reactant side before the reactants, sum of reactants equal to sum of the masses of the products. To make life easier, atoms का atomic mass, molecular mass हमेशा same ही होता है ना? So we end up looking only at the number of atoms instead of going into the specific mass and everything. So you can write this down. Why balance equations? It is in accordance with law of conservation of mass. So satisfy करना पड़ेगा. The second one is more of practical application. कि balanced equation से what is the advantage? What do we get out of it? So it gives the correct proportion of reactants participating and the products forming in the reaction. Okay, so write down the point, then I'll discuss this further. What do we mean by this point? Correct proportion किस लिए चाहिए? क्या होता है? Crystal, I got your answer. Yes. Just put the physical states. No, AgBr is solid and Br2 is gas.
Yeah.
I think Mahak has finished writing. Arya is also finished. No, you're still writing. Okay. Ashwa is done. Okay. इंटरनेट इश्यूज, बहुत सारे लोगों के इंटरनेट इश्यूज चल रहे हैं क्यों? There's no nothing happened also outside. So at least like speak on mics, why I'm like at least keep responding. You don't have to write all of it. Just write points 1 and 2. If you don't know law of conservation of mass, then write this, the one highlighted. This is basically law of conservation of mass. Okay. These are the main things. Okay. So most of you are done. Do you know what is ammonia? Have you heard of ammonia before?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the formula for ammonia?
NH4.
Ah, common mistake.
NH3.
Someone you got it correct. NH3. Ashka, NH.
Ma'am, I was not able to hear you. Can you please repeat? I joined just right now.
Yes, you just joined. I saw that. So we're talking about balancing chemical equations. We do that because we want to satisfy with law of conservation of mass. And I was just elaborating on this particular point. Gives the correct proportion of reactants and products. Like, why do we need to know the correct proportion? So ammonia is NH3. Ashka, I think you're thinking of NH4 plus. This is the ammonium ion.
Yes, ma'am, I messed up.
Okay, so ion hai. So NH3 is ammonia. So how is ammonia prepared? Like this is a very important chemical used in fertilizers and even otherwise. Agar koi paints, dyes, kuch create karna hai, to ammonia is a very commercially important thing. So how do you prepare ammonia? Is you take it like ammonia mein nitrogen hai, hydrogen hai na. So you do it directly from nitrogen and hydrogen. Take N2 plus H2 gives NH3. So the balanced chemical equation is कि यहाँ पे 2 atoms of nitrogen है, यहाँ पे भी 2 होना चाहिए multiplied by 2, then multiply this by 3. So this is the balanced chemical equation for manufacture of ammonia. Abhi, like suppose I want to manufacture like 34 tons of ammonia. Then because I know the balanced chemical equation, I can figure out exactly kitna nitrogen lena hai, kitna hydrogen lena hai in order to prepare 34 tons. Okay. So if you know, if you didn't balance equations, if you didn't know the correct proportion, koi bhi random amount lene se, we're not going to get 34 tons. Like you need to do those calculations, figure out ki kitna nitrogen chahiye, kitna hydrogen chahiye. Then, you know, that much order will be placed, or you adjust the processes so that you have like sufficient quantities. So that's why it's quite important to know koi bhi chemical reaction mein what is the correct quantities or proportion of reactants, or from that particular quantity kitna products aayega. So that's another use with balanced equations. Okay. So going forward, you'll have like stoichiometric calculations and all that. All right. So now let's look at how do you balance equations. These are the basics. Like don't need to write it down because this is exactly what we'll be doing when we do balancing. The whole point with balancing, what we are essentially doing is we're calculating LHS में कितने atoms है, RHS में कितने atoms है, and the aim is while we are balancing equations, these two need to be equal to each other. So how do you do that? Step 1, again, this is more of a cosmetic thing. Like you draw boxes around each formula. This is to ensure that you don't change the formula. This is very, very important. So suppose I have N2 plus H2 gives NH3. इसको balance करने के लिए I'm not gonna change this to N2H3. ये गलत हो जाएगा. So अगर NH3 है, we need to keep it as NH3. So just to practice that, draw a box. So whatever change you do, it will be outside the box. Okay. Do not change the formula of the reactant products. Step 2, list the different number of atoms and the elements on LHS and RHS. इस reaction में हमारे पास LHS, RHS में what all atoms do we have? कौन-कौन से elements participate कर रहे हैं इसमें? I was asking what's the balance? No, what elements are there in this?
In the LHS, 2 atoms of nitrogen and 2 atoms of hydrogen.
Yes.
In RHS, 2 atoms of nitrogen and 3 atoms of hydrogen.
How many atoms of nitrogen?
Sorry, nitrogen. 1 atom of nitrogen. Sorry.
And 3 of
3
hydrogen.
atoms of hydrogen.
Okay. So just list this on LHS, RHS. Again, this whole process, this is only till you get used to the whole balancing thing. Like if you're already at like 8 or 9, if you're able to balance it, you don't have to do this. Just keep doing that, whatever you want. But to start off, if you're not confident, it is difficult to like remember all the numbers and everything in your mind. So just drawing this table will help a lot till you get the hang of it. Then start balancing with a compound containing maximum number of atoms. This though you can like, I'll give you tips of, you know, what to focus on, how to start and all of that, ignore that. But this is the main point. Balance by multiplying with a suitable number without altering the formula. This is very, very, very important. So यहाँ पे LHS equal to RHS करना है ना. Nitrogen में we have 2 on the LHS and 1 on RHS. तो equal करने के लिए always focus on the side with lesser number of atoms. तो नाइट्रोजन RHS में कम है ना, अमोनिया में कम है. तो what can you do to this? What can you multiply this by in order to make it equal? You multiply it by 2. So ये हो गया 2 into 1. This has become 2. It became equal. Essentially what you're doing is by multiplying this, pehle there was 1 molecule of ammonia, and after multiplying you're saying okay, there are 2 molecules of ammonia. So that's what you're doing. By putting the 2 here, it means that you're multiplying the number of molecules. It'll be 2 times NH3. Yeah. Once we did this, okay, nitrogen to balance ho gaya. So oxygen. So next, you pick the next element and balance it similarly by multiplying with suitable number. Next element, okay, nitrogen has become equal. Abhi hydrogen kitne hai? LHS में we didn't disturb it. It is still 2. RHS में कितने hydrogens हो गए अभी?
6.
6. So each molecule of ammonia has 3 hydrogen atoms. That's what NH3 means. But because we have 2 of those molecules, 2 into 3, now we have 6 of hydrogens on RHS. So LHS may come here because there's only 2 of them. So focus on H2 over here. What can you do here in order to make it equal?
Multiplied by 3.
Multiplied by 3. This becomes 3H2. Once we did that, 2 into 3, this becomes 6. So nitrogen, 2 atoms on LHS, 2 on RHS. Hydrogen, 6 on LHS, 6 on RHS. So now it is balanced. So hamara final balanced equation is N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. So that's how we do it. Ye pura, like there is no set method or formula for this. It's all trial and error, but there are some rules you need to remember. Ki you do not change the formula of the reactant product. Agar NH3 hai, तो don't make it N2H6, don't make it N2H3. NH3 will remain as NH3 only. That's very important. Whatever change you do, you multiply it by putting the number on LHS. Okay. And if an already balanced element becomes unbalanced, then you go back and redo the steps. Like abhi ye 6 ho gaya. If this has become 8, then okay, like again you need to multiply it with a different number that way. Anyway, so that as and when we keep doing the reactions, we'll get familiar with it. We'll continue with that. Okay. All right. So time for the first this thing. Okay. Red hot iron on reaction with steam gives a mixed iron 2,3 oxide, which is denoted as Fe3O4. So they've given you the formula, make it easy for you, and releases hydrogen gas. So pehle write the reaction. If you're confident of it, theek hai, attempt balancing. But if you're not, we'll do it together. But I want you guys only to write the basic equation, the skeletal equation. पहले ये equation लिख लो, then we'll see, like balance कर सकते हो तो attempt it, try it off, don't wait for me. If not, yeah, we'll do it together. Okay, guys, any of you classmates with Ishita Agrawal? Okay.
I know her.
You know her, okay. Can you check what happened to her? Like she was not in the 230 class also. She's not joined today also, now also. Kya hua?
Ma'am, I'll ask her in school then.
Okay. She attended school today, yeah?
Ma'am, we have a holiday.
Yeah.
Oh, right. 14th है ना आज. So if you are attempting balancing, can you just give me a reaction? Can you just tell me who all are doing the balancing? Gautam is, Aryan is, okay. तो बाकी लोग like send the skeletal equation ना? So I'll check it, and अगर वो सही हुआ तो we can start off with the balancing. Ashka, Srijak, Arya, Swayam, Parvati, and Krisal. Arya, yes. Arya, you got it. You can try balancing if you want. Your equation is absolutely right. Ashka, iron metal है ना, तो it'll just be Fe. उसके आगे कुछ होगा नहीं.
Okay,
Aryan,
ma'am.
Aryan, hydrogen gas exists as what? Formula
Ma'am,
क्या है?
H2, right?
हाँ. So you missed out on the 2 there. Mehak has already sent balanced equation, and that is absolutely right, Mehak. You got it. Good. Srijak, Swayam, and Parvati and Crystal. भेजो जल्दी. Oh, Srijak sent a balanced one. You also got it? Good. Parvati, Crystal, Swayam, क्या हो रहा है? Guess here.
Ma'am, try to write it.
Okay. Crystal, yeah, equation is correct. Can start balancing it. Can give it a try. Yeah, so this is the skeletal equation. Skeletal matlab it's like bare bones. It's not giving you balancing ka information. It's not giving you the physical state ka information also. That's why it's called a skeletal equation. Parvati, physical state of water reaction with steam bola hai na? What is steam?
Water switch.
Boiled water, like water vapor है ना वो. तो physical state क्या होगा?
Okay, so it will be in the gaseous state.
Yes. Gautam, yes, you got the balanced equation. सही है. Good stuff. Okay, so whoever wants to do the balancing with me, start off like just keep track of LHS, RHS में कौन से atoms है और कितने हैं. That's where you start off with. So कौन से atoms है इस पूरे equation में? Ashka, Aryan, yes, tell me. Aryan, balanced, very good, सही आया.
Ma'am, I've balanced it. I'm just sending
Okay.
it to you over chat.
Good. So Crystal, Parvati, and Swayam. Arya also, like, okay, so you're balancing it, na Arya? Here. So what all atoms do we have here? So we have
In the LHS, there's one atom of iron.
Hmm.
There are two atoms of hydrogen. And then there's one atom of oxygen.
Okay. और RHS में ion?
There's 3 iron, 4 oxygen, and 2 hydrogen.
ठीक है. So usually when you have this sort of a situation, right, always leave hydrogen oxygen to the end. Whatever reaction you're in, whatever reaction you're balancing, hydrogen oxygen hamesha they're like always there. There'll be so many atoms of those. Leave them to the end. Try to start off with the metal wherever possible. Iron, calcium, sodium, barium, jo bhi hai. Try to start off with the metal because that's easier. Because hamesha if you have like pure metal, once you balance it, you don't have to disturb it again. So, aasan rahega. So iron, let's start off with iron here because that's the metal. How would we balance iron yahan pe?
You can add 3 iron.
Yes. 3 where?
In the LHS.
LHS. तो 3 कहाँ पे आगे करूँ कि पीछे करूँ? So is it A or is it B? How will I write it in order to balance it?
A.
A is right. Remember, we're not supposed to disturb the formula at all. अगर Fe है तो Fe ही रहेगा. So whatever number we add, it has to be in front of the element. This is right. Okay. अभी ये हो गया balance 3 and 3. Now look at hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen though is balanced only, so we don't have to disturb that. Like an oxygen is not balanced. LHS में there's 1, RHS में there's 4. So how do we balance this now? How do we make it equal?
Make it 4H2O.
4H2O. So focus on which side has lesser number of atoms. तो ऑक्सीजन LHS में there's lesser number, तो इसी को कुछ किसी नंबर से मल्टीप्लाई कर सकते हैं. So we need to make it equal to 4. So we're gonna multiply it by 4. So 1 into 4, this has become 4. So oxygen is also balanced. But what happened to hydrogen? Is that balanced? क्योंकि हमने H2O को multiply किया ना, तो H2O में hydrogen भी है, तो अभी number of hydrogens को क्या हो गया?
They became 8 atoms of hydrogen.
So here we have 8 and here we still have 2. तो अभी इसको balance करने के लिए what should we do?
You can write it as 4H2.
4H2. Yes, 4 into 2. This will become 8. There you go. 3, 3, 8, 8, 4, 4. Now this is balanced. Yeah. So this is exactly how you do it. You pick one element, you balance it, then go to the next one, then go to the next one. So keep doing it one at a time. Okay. So about physical state, most of you have gotten it right, but some of you have not written the physical state. So red hot ion is a metal, इसलिए solid होगा. Now water usually you put liquid, but क्योंकि यहाँ पे steam लिखा हुआ है, so this becomes gaseous. Iron 2,3 oxide, okay, this is a salt, so it's solid, and hydrogen gas is gaseous. This is basically the equation for rusting. Fun fact. When things are rusting, this is what is happening. Iron is turning into its oxides. And also iron 2,3 oxide ka meaning, like the meaning behind that is that it's a mixture of Fe2 plus and Fe3 plus. So Fe2 plus ke oxide is FeO and Fe3 plus का oxide is Fe2O3. तो दोनों को add करके that's how you get Fe3O4. Okay, so rust is basically a mixture of both of these iron oxides. So Fe1 plus 2 is Fe3 and oxygen 1 plus 3 is 4. That's how we get this formula. Okay. All right. So we'll do a couple more reactions. Okay. Next, क्या है? This is the second one. ठीक है. When solutions of barium chloride and sodium sulfate are mixed, sodium chloride is formed in the solution and barium sulfate precipitates out. So first step, do you guys know the formula, like what is barium और उसका valency barium chloride क्या होता है? Are you familiar with it? Huh?
Now is it BaCl2?
Yes. Okay. So barium is Ba2 plus. Chloride you're familiar with, will be Cl minus. Sodium also you're familiar with, Na plus. Sulfate also you should know, SO4 2 minus. So I've given you the ions. So figure out the formula and write the equation. Again, if you're confident with balancing, like send me the balanced equation. If not, send me the skeletal equation, then I'll okay it and then you can try balancing. Hello, देखते हैं this time who is the first one to send it. Mark has been sending quite quickly. But Arya was the first one who sent it last time. देखते हैं who sends first. Oh, again, Arya is the first one to send it. So we'll see. Okay, so we have barium chloride. Arya, check the formula for sodium sulfate. Sodium ka valence, you have put it here, no? Sodium sulfate, sodium chloride, both of them you got it wrong. Sodium is Na plus. Also, barium may use capital B. Like, don't make a habit of it so that you don't write it wrongly in the exam. Take care of that. Srijak sent it. Okay, we have barium chloride, sodium sulfate, sodium chloride, and barium sulfate. And it is perfectly balanced. Good. Srijak got it. Srijak's the first one to get it properly, correctly. Arya, correct it and send it. So sodium valency is 1. So sodium sulfate का क्या होगा? Sodium chloride का क्या होगा? Gautam sent it. Okay. Nice. Gautam also got it. And it is completely balanced also, 100%. So Srijak's first, Ashka also sent it. I missed out. Sorry. Srijak's first, Ashka second, Gautam third, Mahak fourth. So sulfate, if it is not 2 or 3, you don't have to put the brackets there. Yeah. Aryan also got it. Very good. Well done, Aryan. Again, tiny things, take care of it. Chloride Cl, L should be small. No, wait, Aryan is not completely correct. Barium chloride का formula क्या होगा? And
I forgot to put the
Parvati also got it. Parvati, balance it now. Like formulas are correct here. You just need to balance it. Then Swayam and Crystal. So the two of you, I'm waiting.
I'm balancing.
Arya, you're correcting, right? Like, समझ में आया? Like, what is the issue? Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, correct it, send it. Okay, जल्दी जल्दी भेजो. So whoever is done with this, okay. Uske baad whiteboard pe I'll give like a couple of reactions that you can use for practicing. Okay, we'll do a few more balancing. But tab tak who Arya, Krishal, and Swayam. Send it, guys. Okay, by the time these guys send it, I'm gonna rest of you, I'll give you the equation directly, but just do the balancing part of it. First is zinc plus HCl gives zinc chloride plus H2 gas. Parvati, doubt in changing the subscript? No doubt. Like you don't have to, don't change the subscript.
Okay.
So change karna hai to like over here only you need to change. But what is the doubt? Like, can you elaborate? Kya ho raha hai?
Ma'am, I'm just getting confused because only the changes that is happening in the equation is with the subscript only. So when we add one more molecule for it, I'm not getting how will it change? Like, is it the valency or something?
No. You're just, again, I told you, right? You're multiplying it. Okay, pichli wala, I'll take an example of the previous one. So previous one was barium chloride plus sodium sulfate, Na2SO4, gives barium sulfate and sodium chloride. ये था ना? तो
Yes, ma'am.
barium is perfectly balanced, जिसको disturb नहीं करना है. Chloride, यहाँ पे Cl2 है, यहाँ पे Cl ही है. So when we multiply it by 2 over here, तो formula change नहीं हो रहा है. So the product is NaCl only. But instead of having one molecule of NaCl, now we have two molecules of NaCl. So think of it this way. I'll give a visual of it. So barium chloride hai. So you have one atom of barium with two chlorine atoms. Sodium sulfate hai. We have two atoms of sodium. Let's say black is sodium and one of sulfate. Pink, I'll keep it as sulfate. यहाँ पे barium sulfate है. So Ba, I have one of Ba and one of sulfate. So one red and one pink. And we have NaCl. So sodium क्या लिया मैंने? Black. So one sodium and one chlorine. Chlorine is green. So now total number of atoms on LHS and RHS should be equal. Like that's the rule of the universe. So barium, there's only one red. यहाँ पे भी there's one red. Perfect. But chlorine यहाँ पे दो है ना. So in order to balance it by multiplying it by 2, I'm saying that okay, there's 2 of sodium chloride. So दूसरा molecule भी produce हुआ इधर. So now if I count, I have 2 of chlorine, Cl and Cl. Idhar bhi I have 2 of chlorine, Cl and Cl. Similarly, sodium, I have 2 NAs over here. Yahan pe bhi I have 2 Na over here. And one sulfate and one sulfate is here. So multiplying it by 2, I have not changed the formula. NaCl jo hai, NaCl ही produce हुआ. Just as instead of one molecule, I have 2 of the molecules here.
Okay, ma'am, got it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Mahak, what's up?
Do we consider sulfate as one element or do we say sulfur plus oxygen?
That's a good question. So again, this is more of a hacky way to look at it to make life easier. So if you see that LHS, RHS में sulfate has not changed, like it has not broken into sulfite or sulfur oxygen, ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं. Treat sulfate as a single unit. So that way you'll have lesser atoms to work with and it'll be less confusing also. So sulfur ion jo hai, if it has retained its thing, consider it as one unit. So this applies for all ions of this type. Suppose LHS में RHS में nitrate ion change नहीं हुआ, so treat it as a single unit. But if it is decomposed, like if it's decomposition of iron sulfate, so LHS में sulfate है, लेकिन RHS में you have like sulfur dioxide and other things, then you need to split it into sulfur and 4 oxygens. But if you have sulfate एक ही unit में, you don't have to. Okay, so this particular reaction I've given, किसने कर लिया? Crystal, yes. So have you sent the previous one? आ गया. Work on this also, no? Zinc hydrochloric acid wala. Ashka has sent, got it. Mahak has got it. Aryan got it. Srijak has got it. Gautam got it. Aryan, you sent it twice. Okay. Are you corrected?
Ma'am, I corrected the.
Good. Make a habit of it. Because I've seen this with your seniors. I used to let it go. ठीक है, Zoom पे है, chat पे है. But once it came to written exams, they started doing the same mistakes, writing equal to and all. So now I'm strict. Don't get used to writing however you want. Sri Parvati, you got it. Swayam, I don't know what happened to him. Swayam's just like gone completely out. Arya, barium chloride wala. Okay. Yes. Can you send the zinc chloride wala also, Arya?
Yes, ma'am. I'm balancing the equation. I'll send it.
Okay. Here. So most of you have done it, just 1, 2 have not done it. So do this next one. This is gonna get slightly more complicated. Okay. We'll go with an acid-base reaction. Sulfuric acid, H2SO4, plus calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice. Neutralize, we get calcium sulfate, CaSO4, plus water. So this is not very difficult to balance. The twist or the complexity is in how do you calculate the number of atoms. Yeah, I'll leave you guys to try it because you've been doing decently well. If you're stuck somewhere, let me know, I'll discuss it. Right, so solve this. I'll just come and like oh, solve नहीं हुआ. Okay, awesome. Arya, I got your zinc hydrochloric acid wala. Got it. Oh, Mahak and Sri Parvati have sent first ones to answer. Good. Chalo dekhte hain. Mahak, your balancing is absolutely right, but you don't have to put H2O in brackets. Don't just put brackets. Like brackets are used when subscript may like calcium hydroxide may OH is taken twice. So similarly, sulfate ka, if it's taken twice, if it's taken thrice, only in those sort of cases you use brackets. Otherwise, you don't. So when you're doing it in rough, if it makes sense for you, theek hai. But when you're presenting your answer, don't use the brackets. Srijak also has sent. Srijak has got it. Nice. Top 3 are Mahak, Sri Parvati, and Srijak. Good. Got
Ma'am, is it correct?
Yeah, it is. Ashka, yes, you got it. That is absolutely right. Aryan Gautam, क्या कर रहे हैं? Like क्या हो रहा है?
Ma'am, I made a mistake. I'm redoing it.
Okay. Okay. Arya, you're solving the sulfuric acid, like the last one, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Gautam has sent. Yes. Gautam, what did I just tell you? Like, write it properly, no? Calcium है तो C capital A small होना चाहिए.
Sorry, ma'am. Mistake. I'm sending it.
Okay. Crystal, are you working it out?
Yes, ma'am, but I can't. I just am not understanding the last one. How to do it?
Last one, matlab this one, the sulfuric acid one.
Yeah, the calcium.
Okay. Okay, we'll do this. Srijak asking about physical state. Let me check. No. So acid-base reactions, all of them will be aqueous only. So unless and until you know that salt is insoluble, it's all going to be aqueous except water. Water is it's like so dissolved nahi ho raha na, that will be liquid. Rest of it is all aqueous. Think about it, like acid, theek hai, aqueous, you got it. Base, even if you take the solid, like already beaker mein pani hai na, you're putting it in water in H2SO4. So this is also going to dissolve, ionize, so this also will be aqueous. Okay. Gautam, yeah, okay. All right. So Crystal, counting the number of atoms, again, as always, start off with the metal, which is simplest. Calcium is calcium, ek hi hai, that you don't have to disturb. Now, sulfate also, like H2SO4 mein, sulfate ion jo hai, that is directly reacting. There's one of each, that is perfectly fine. So all we are left with is hydrogen and oxygen. So abhi, what is the total number of hydrogens on LHS?
4 hydrogen atoms.
4.
4. Very good. So you have 2 and then 2 plus like 1 hydrogen but taken twice. So total 4 hydrogen. And RHS mein kitne hain?
2.
So RHS mein kam hai. So how will you balance out the hydrogens here?
So we put a 4 in the last one. In 4, we put 4 H2O.
If I put 4
Yeah.
H2O, will I get it equal?
Yeah.
How?
No, sorry. Two. Sorry.
Yeah, be careful,
I'm
okay?
sorry.
That's a very silly mistake. So you need to make it 4. So 2 into 2 is 4. So you multiply this by 2. Hydrogen तो balance हो गया. Now oxygen. तो LHS में कितने oxygens है total?
6.
6, yes. But I have counted sulfate as a separate unit, right? तो मैंने sulfate यहाँ पे SO4 यहाँ पे balance हो गया. So I will not consider sulfate again. So other than sulfur, like sulfate ion में total oxygens कहाँ पे है और कितने हैं? So that'll help, like that'll be less confusing, because if you count this as sulfate is balanced, you don't have to count this again. You just have to worry about the rest of the things. So as
So we'll take 4.
yeah, 2 here, like 2 oxygens here, and यहाँ पे other than sulfate, oxygen is only in water. So total oxygen यहाँ पे कितने हैं?
2.
So 2 and 2 is perfectly balanced. So this is the final balanced equation. So that's H2SO4 plus CaOH twice, calcium hydroxide, gives CaSO4 plus 2H2O. Yep, so this is the final balanced equation. So that is the reason I told you guys earlier कि whenever you have sulfate, अगर LHS में भी SO4 ही है, RHS में भी SO4 ही है, consider sulfate as a separate unit and consider it completely as a unit. तो अगर sulfate already count कर लिया हमने कि यहाँ पे एक sulfate है, यहाँ पे एक sulfate है, ignore the sulfur and oxygen क्योंकि already हमने collectively as a set we counted them in balancing. Okay. Okay. All right. What else do we have? It's 5:35. No? Okay. So balancing, yeah, like when we meet in the offline class on Saturday, we'll work on this a lot more. But now, like we have done a few equations. How, like, are you feeling more confident? Pehle se? Okay, I can see some people nodding. What about you guys? Ashka, Arya, Krisel, Srijak?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you're at like a decent place, then we can, all that's left is just practicing. Just keep doing more and more of it. So do you feel like you've gotten the hang of it? Ki kya karna hai? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Then we'll go to the next part, which is this. ये हमने already कर लिया, barium chloride वाला. This is the working of it and types of reactions. Okay. So apart from balancing, like balancing is the only main, complex dimag lagane wala part in this chapter. Rest of it, this is all like mainly theory. Like once you understand it, you'll get the hang of it quite easily. So types of reactions, we can classify them based on energy changes. We've already seen like chemical reactions, chemical change, matlab there's going to be change in energy. So either energy will be given out or absorbed. So based on that, we have a classification, exothermic, endothermic, or based on what is happening to the reactants and products, like how are the atoms being arranged. Uske basis pe we have combination, decomposition, single displacement, double displacement, and electron transfer ke basis mein we have oxidation and reduction. The other different types we'll be studying about. So we'll start off with exothermic, endothermic. Have you guys heard of exothermic, endothermic before? Like bachpan mein seekha tha kya? What it means, what they are? Yes, no? Okay, you guys note, like finish noting down, then we'll start the discussion. Okay, so everybody's done noting, like, can I assume everybody's done noting? Okay, so exothermic endothermic reaction. Like, have you guys heard of it, considered it, known of exothermic endothermic before? What do you guys know about it? Like, what do you mean by exothermic reaction?
Ma'am, like in which heat's given out.
Yeah, that's basically it. But not restricted to heat. So think of it as reactions in which energy is given out. So energy can be heat energy, it can be light energy. Sometimes it can be sound also. So reactions in which heat or in general energy is evolved, liberated, released, given out. So they are called exothermic reactions. And endothermic is the opposite of it. So reactions in which heat or energy is absorbed are called endothermic reactions. Okay. So it's easy to remember. Exothermic sounds like exo is exit. So heat is exiting the reaction. Heat is being released. And endo, heat is entering the reaction. Heat is being absorbed. So that's endothermic. That's one way you can easily remember it. Oh, my video is off. Okay, so okay, reactions in which heat is liberated. So how do you identify exothermic reaction? Like suppose you're in a lab or कुछ कोई reaction चल रहा है वहाँ पे. So how do you figure out if it is exothermic or endothermic?
After the products are formed, that will be exothermic.
Can you repeat that, Mahak?
The beaker or the test tube gets heated up, the temperature increases when
Yes,
the products are formed.
absolutely. So how do you figure out if if it gets warmed up? Yeah, you said temperature increases. So like use a thermometer. If you stick it in that vessel, if the temperature goes up, it means it's an exothermic reaction. If the temperature goes down, it means it's an endothermic reaction. That's the safer way, more sensible way to do it. हमारे previous batch सीधा बोल दिया कि like just put your finger in it. अगर जला तो exothermic है. So don't do that. Don't just touch.
Another reason is there.
Huh?
Ma'am, another reason is there. Ma'am, so in exothermic, so the heat is evolved or liberated. So then the surroundings become hot, and in endothermic, the surroundings become cool as heat is absorbed. Or energy.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly right. Okay. So that's how, in a laboratory, if you have to figure out if something's exothermic, endothermic, that's how you do it. Other ways you can identify, like temperature rises, temperature falls is quite obvious. But you also have a lot of reactions where you can see it being exothermic. So heat being liberated, matlab, heat plus light is basically a flame. So all the combustion reactions, you can see the energy being released. In some cases, it's just light that is evolved. So you will see this case in living things. Like, have you guys seen fireflies? Fireflies, glowworms, jugni. What happens?
They are bioluminescent.
Oh,
They emit their own
you
light.
used a word there. Yes, absolutely. They are. So that phenomenon is what we call bioluminescence. But what exactly is bioluminescence? Where is it coming from? What's happening there?
The ability to produce it, the person's, I mean, their own light.
How do they produce their own light?
No idea what they do.
Yeah, so that's the phenomenon with bioluminescence. So basically, it sounds like some weird scientific word, but it's very, very obvious. Okay, so bio, first part, basically biological. So कोई भी living organism में luminescence, think of illumination, luminous bodies. So if there's a living thing producing its own light, so that phenomenon is bioluminescence. And ये कैसे होता है? Again, it's because of a chemical reaction. So living organisms, matlab, we have a lot of like enzymes and things, like a lot of chemical reactions taking place inside our body, right? Digestion होगा या फिर कोई भी, like even movement, absorption, जो भी है, काफी सारे reactions चल रहे हैं. So even in things like fireflies, there are some algae also. Like if you guys have been on the internet, if you're like scrolling on the internet, you must have seen कि beach में there's like blue colored luminescent algae are there. Yeah, Pacific Ocean में ऐसे दिखता रहता है. So a lot of these creatures, things that give out their own light, उनमें they have like certain enzymes. So when those enzymes react, so why do they react? It could be, it's their life cycle, or it could be a specific weather, or it could be some behavior of theirs. कोई भी reason हो सकता है. But that particular enzyme, when it reacts, it's an exothermic reaction in which they give out light energy. So that's what we see as fireflies ka light and all that. Yeah. So that is the reason, like fireflies ka example, if we take, it happens only in one specific season. It doesn't happen like all the time. So that has to do with like their own, some life cycle, some biological phenomena. But yeah, a byproduct is that when that enzyme breaks down or something, it happens along with light being released. So that's bioluminescence. Why it happens is due to chemical reactions within the living organisms. Okay. And when it comes to endothermic, iska bilkul opposite hai. This we have already discussed. Ki energy is absorbed from surroundings, so temperature falls. Sometimes we ourselves will have to provide energy in order for that reaction to take place. So we can do that in the form of heat. So काफी सारे reactions है, unless and until we heat it up, they won't take place. Decomposition reactions, they won't take place unless and until we provide light. So अगर light नहीं दिया तो reaction will not happen. So that's endothermic. And electricity भी दे सकते हैं. So can you guys think of an example of a reaction that won't take place without light?
Photosynthesis.
There you go. Photosynthesis is an endothermic reaction. It requires light to take place. What about electricity? Have you guys come across any electrolysis reactions? Like not just now, but like in your lower classes, koi example, koi maybe studying something else, but have you come across electrolysis? No? Have you guys done this reaction, electrolysis of water? So,
So water if electric current is mixed.
the current. Yeah. So you take like a beaker of water, you add like 1-2 drops of any acid, like you can add salt, or you can add sulfuric acid, or you can add lemon juice also, any acid, and connect it with electrodes, pass electricity through it. Water breaks down into hydrogen and oxygen. So that's electrolysis of water. Again, this reaction, like pani randomly hydrogen oxygen mein nahi ho raha hai na. So this happens only if you pass electricity through it. So this is electrolysis. So electrolysis be like it's a type of decomposition reaction. We're going to study more about it. But yeah, these are like some common ways of identifying endothermic reaction. अगर हम कुछ energy provide कर रहे हैं reaction के लिए, it means that that reaction is absorbing that energy in order to take place. Okay, so this is how you identify exothermic, endothermic. Then we have some examples of exothermic reaction: combustion, any sort of burning, whether you're burning magnesium, whether you're burning coal, carbon, whether you're burning methane for that matter, any sort of burning, matlab flame aa raha hai, matlab that's heat and light energy being released. So all combustion reactions are exothermic reactions. Then this is another example, slaking of lime. What is slaking of lime? So if you take quicklime, so quicklime is the common name for this chemical calcium oxide. There's not like any exotic chemical. So calcium oxide is nothing but chuna. So construction में whitewashing के लिए पूरा use करते हैं ना. That's what it is. Quicklime, when you dissolve it in water, gives slaked lime calcium hydroxide. Another name for COH twice, you call it slaked lime because you're getting it after slaking lime. You also call it lime water, not to be confused with lemon juice. Okay. So calcium hydroxide is lime water. So quicklime, when you dissolve it in water, gives lime water. Chuna, like I don't know if you're in Sujal section or not, but apparently they made you guys write it in Hindi. Chuna plus pani gives chuna pani.
Yes, ma'am, they did.
Yes, mom, they did.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So fun fact, whenever you come across lime in the name of any chemical, right? Like we have quicklime, we have lime water. Similarly, there's another thing called limestone. Limestone is calcium carbonate, that's marble, your chalk basically. So if you see lime in the name of a compound, common name, speaking wala name, basically means that it is a compound of calcium. Okay, so that's whenever you come across. So quicklime is calcium oxide, lime water is calcium hydroxide, limestone is calcium carbonate. Similarly, compounds with soda in the name are basically compounds of sodium, like baking soda, washing soda, caustic soda. These are all like sodium ke salts, sodium ke compounds. Okay, but yeah, that's an aside, like that's more of a hack, fun fact thing. Coming back to our reaction here. So quicklime, when you dissolve it in water, gives slaked lime. So this is what the reaction looks like. So pani hai, bowl of water. This person is putting calcium oxide, chuna, in this bowl of pani. So keep observing, see what happens eventually. You can see that the water starts boiling on its own. And like it starts boiling very, very violently. That's because this particular reaction between water and calcium oxide is extremely exothermic. So it releases enough heat energy that it spontaneously starts boiling the water. This may reaction chal raha hai. Okay. So an application of this, like where do you find this process slaking of lime? Where do you use calcium oxide? Is in construction. So agar kuch plaster bana rahe ya cement bana rahe hai, to you create lime water, then you add like sand in it, and then pura process chal raha hai. Whitewashing maybe like this is what you do, like you take quick lime, mix it in water, then you put it on walls, plastering ke liye, all that. So this is slaking of lime. It's an example of exothermic reaction. This is quite popular, like note down and remember all these points, because you may get questions of the type ki, a compound X which is used in constructions or which is used in whitewashing walls, when dissolved in water turns into a compound Y, with an extremely exothermic reaction. So immediately, okay, compound X used in construction, matlab quick climb ho sakta hai. Like that's kind of how you piece your answer together chemistry mein. So once you get quick climb, then you know that, okay, quick climb with water gives calcium hydroxide. So a lot of your questions in chemistry are going to be like that only. It'll be like you have to play detective. A compound A, when you do this to this, gives compound B. Jiska formula hai, it's an acidic compound, it's a basic compound. So you will be given a lot of these hints, and then you need to figure out what is A, what is B, using all of that. Okay, so this is an exothermic reaction, and we have endothermic reaction. Okay. How's it going so far, guys? Like, are you following? Any
Yes, ma'am.
doubts? Any
Yes, ma'am.
questions so far? Right? Yeah. You all have been like very, very quiet. So I don't know if it's like, is it interesting? Are you like doing it? Yeah, right. Okay. Where are we? Okay, so exothermic reaction. Next, let's go to endothermic reaction. So laboratory example for endothermic, like photosynthesis already discussed kar liya humne. Another reaction is when you mix ammonium chloride in water. You know what is the formula for ammonium chloride?
NH4Cl.
NH4Cl. Nice, good. 2 people got it. Ammonium is NH4Cl, Cl minus chloride, so NH4Cl. So when you dissolve in water, the temperature drops on its own. You can see that here. So this, we had done it in, like when I was in school, we had done it in our own laboratory, and it was so amusing. It's like beaker ke upar pura, like fridge ke pani jaise, there was condensation, and when you touch it, it like literally got really cold. But yeah, observe, they're putting water here, and this is the thermometer. Look at what's happening to the temperature. Did you guys catch that, or like was it too fast?
It instantaneously lowered.
Okay? I'll play it again. So look carefully, okay? Just make it full screen. Yeah, watch. So that white powder is ammonium chloride. That's what he's putting in the beaker. Now observe the thermometer. Itna hai. So as soon as he added water, like 15 ke upar kuch tha, that's gone to like 5 degrees Celsius. Immediate drop in temperature. Okay, so that's what endothermic reactions look like. Oh, on mixing a little bit, it dropped even more. It's going almost to 0 either. Yeah. Yeah. Then okay, so next we look at the types of reactions depending on, so this is like exothermic reaction, endothermic reaction, depending on energy changes. Energy absorb hua ki release hua. The next set of reactions, we look at what is happening in the reaction itself. Matlab, if you look at the reactant products, unke atoms and molecules, how are they getting rearranged? So the first type is combination reaction. So the reactions in which 2 or more substances combine to form a single product are called combination reactions. It is very, very self-explanatory and very obvious, you guys. Combination matlab kuch combine ho raha hai. So we have A plus B. Okay, that's a horrible color. So we have A plus B, two substances are combining to a single product. So the way you identify combination reactions is, अगर reactant के side में if there's more than one, and product के side में there's exactly one, so that means it's a combination reaction. ये सारे reactants combine होके एक product बने. Okay, so these are combination reactions. Two or more substances combine to form a single product. So this part of the chapter, theoretical hai, you need to learn all the definitions because there'll be questions based on the definitions, and they'll ask you to give like 2-3 examples, or the other way around. Like they may give some reactions and be like, identify what type of reaction is it. So dono sides say you need to be able to figure it out. Yeah. So example of combination reactions. So combustion, carbon plus oxygen giving single product CO2, magnesium plus oxygen giving MgO, copper plus oxygen giving CuO. Slaking of lime, abhi dekha hai humne. If you just like, if I just scroll back, slaking of lime mein we have calcium oxide and water, two reactants combining to give a single product. Then preparation of all these, like from the element, if you're preparing, like if you're creating water from hydrogen and oxygen, that's a combination reaction. Creating hydrochloric acid from hydrogen and chlorine, preparation of ammonia. So all of these come under examples of combination reaction. So I want you guys, like यहाँ पे जो लिखा है slaking of lime, write down the reaction of slaking of lime. उसे practice हो जाएगा तुम लोगों का. And preparation of water के भी, like write down these 3 reactions. If you're doubtful, if you don't know, like you can just send it over chat and then see. Otherwise, yes, write it down. Okay, once you're done, I want to show you guys this thing, because out of this, this particular reaction, oxidation of copper, thode visual cues here, and you'll be asked questions based on this. So I want to show you guys this one. ठीक है, लिख लिया, खत्म हो गया. Gautam still writing. Aryan, Srijak, Krisel, Ashka, Parvati.
No.
Okay.
I'm done.
So I'll play this video once you guys are done. So. So this is copper, like typical copper colored, right? So when you heat it in air, it oxidizes, like heating in air matlab atmosphere mein jo oxygen hai, it forms copper oxide. So I want you guys to notice okay. Abhi ye jo substance form hua because copper has reacted with oxygen, this is copper oxide. So what is the color of copper oxide?
Gray.
Gray, metallic gray.
Oh, it looks gray to you guys. Okay, copper oxide is supposed to be black.
I guess I got colorblind.
No, it could be the screen and brightness and all these other things also, right? I'll show you guys copper oxide images. Yeah. So this is the color for copper oxide. So if you scrape it off of that metal, jo video mein tha, so this is what it looks like. It's copper oxide is black. So that's like another popular question, oxidation of copper ke bare mein. So you'll be asked as a brown color metal on heating in air turns into a black substance. And based on that, like you'll be asked like 3-4 questions. So based on the cues that are given there, brown color substance, brown metal matlab more often than not it's copper. Kyunki baki sare metals are like grayish or metallic color hota hai. Copper is like orangish, brownish, that color. And copper oxide, like on heating the brown metal, that turns into a black substance. So black color oxide matlab copper oxide only. If it is a brown oxide, then that's rust iron oxide hoga wo. Okay. Magnesium oxide is like a white color powder. So going forward, like pay attention to these sort of cues, like what are the color, what is the texture like, solid hai ki liquid hai, because that gets quite important. Like a lot of questions will be asked based on those cues. Here. All right. And have you guys gotten the equations for preparation of water? Balance kiya? Water is simple. You have hydrogen plus oxygen gives water. Combination hai, two substances combining into one. What would be the balance? Agar balance karna hai to kya likhna hai mujhe?
I'm 2H.
Huh? 2H2, okay.
No, ma'am. I'm 2H2.
2H2.
Come on.
अभी पूरा balanced है.
Ma'am, in the
And 2H.
2H2. Yeah, 2H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. Next, hydrochloric acid, you prepare from hydrogen, which is H2. Chlorine is Cl2, gives HCl. क्या करना है?
2HCl would be balanced.
2HCl.
HCl.
2HCl.
Ammonia, पहले भी किया, but anyway, tell me what should we do ammonia के लिए?
3H2 and then 2NH3.
2NH3, yes. Yeah. So all these sort of preparation reactions, the only criteria for preparation like combination reaction is LHS में multiple reactants होना चाहिए, RHS में there should be only one product. So basically what's happening is यहाँ पे जो भी reactants हैं सारे combine होके एक ही product produce कर रहे हैं. That's combination. Okay. We'll stop here. Decomposition and all will continue in the next class. So offline class में I'll focus a lot on balancing. अगर flipper में अगर इसके बारे में अगर questions कुछ आए तो like answer it anyway. If not, we'll continue in the next class anyway. Okay, but mainly I want to do like balancing related questions. Okay. All right. How are you guys feeling abhi? Like, are you feeling more